I've always considered myself a good mom. The kind who remembers birthdays, sends care packages during finals week, and actually listens when my kid talks. So when my daughter Emma turned 21, I wanted to do something special. Something she'd never forget. The plan was simple. Sneak into her apartment while she was at work, decorate the hell out of the place, and have all her friends waiting when she got home. She'd given me a spare key months ago for emergencies. This counted as an emergency, right? An emergency of love. I drove 3 hours to her college town, my trunk loaded with balloons, streamers, and enough booze to stock a small bar. Emma had moved off campus 6 months earlier into what she called a steal of an apartment. I'd never actually visited. She always insisted on meeting at restaurants when I came to see her. The key turned smoothly in the lock. I pushed the door open, already grinning at my own cleverness. The living room was normal enough. Couch, TV, coffee table with textbooks scattered across it. But something felt off. The apartment was bigger than I'd imagined from Emma's descriptions, and there was a hallway I hadn't expected. I started hanging streamers in the living room, humming to myself. That's when I heard it. A small cough from somewhere deeper in the apartment. My hands froze mid-streamer. "Emma?" I called out. Silence. I walked down the hallway slowly, 2 doors on the left, 1 on the right. The first door was clearly Emma's room. I could see her favorite purple comforter through the crack. The second door was closed. I shouldn't have opened it. I know that now. But mothers are curious creatures, especially when something feels wrong. The door swung open, and my world tilted sideways. A nursery. A full nursery with pale yellow walls, a white crib, and toys scattered across a soft rug. And standing in the crib, gripping the rails with tiny hands, was a toddler. Maybe 18 months old. Dark curly hair, big brown eyes, wearing dinosaur pajamas. The child looked at me and said, "Mama?" My purse slipped from my shoulder and hit the floor with a thud. The sound made the toddler's lip quiver, and suddenly he was crying, loud, hiccuping sobs that seemed to shake the walls. I stood there like an idiot, frozen, while this child I'd never seen before screamed for my daughter. My 21-year-old daughter who, according to every conversation we'd had for the past 2 years, definitely did not have a baby. The front door burst open. "Mom? What are you doing here?" Emma stood in the doorway of the nursery, her face drained of all color. She pushed past me and scooped the toddler up, bouncing him gently. "Shh. It's okay, baby. It's okay." "Emma." My voice came out strangled. "What the hell is going on?" She wouldn't look at me, just kept bouncing the kid, whispering soothing words into his hair. Is this your son?" Finally, she met my eyes, and I saw something there I'd never seen before. Fear. My daughter, my confident, straight-A student daughter, was terrified of me. "Mom, I can explain." Emma put the toddler, Noah she called him, down for a nap while I stood in her living room, balloons and streamers forgotten on the floor. My hands were shaking. I couldn't stop them. When she came back, she looked like she might throw up. "Start talking," I said. She sat on the couch, pulling her knees up to her chest like she used to do as a kid when she was in trouble. "His name is Noah. He's 19 months old, and yes, he's mine." The words hit me like physical blows. 19 months? Emma, that means you were pregnant when you came home for Christmas sophomore year. I know. You sat at our dinner table, ate Mom's cookies, opened presents, and you were pregnant? And you didn't tell me? I couldn't. Her voice cracked. You don't understand what it was like. Then make me understand. I was shouting now, and I never shout. How could you hide a baby from me? How could you hide a pregnancy? I'm your mother. Emma's face crumpled. That's exactly why I couldn't tell you. I stared at her, not comprehending. Do you remember what you said when Courtney Davis got pregnant senior year? Emma's voice was quiet now, deadly quiet. You said she'd thrown her life away, that she'd never amount to anything now, that her parents must be so ashamed. The memory hit me like cold water. I had said that, in the car, driving past Courtney pushing a stroller. I'd said it without thinking, the way people do when they're passing judgment on someone else's life. That was different. How? Emma's eyes were fierce now. How was it different? I was 19 when I got pregnant. I was one semester into sophomore year. I just declared my biology major. You and Dad were so proud. You kept telling everyone your daughter was going to be a doctor. You still can be. Not with a baby, Mom. Not in your eyes. I saw how you looked at Courtney. Like she was a disappointment. Like she'd failed at life. And I couldn't be that to you. I sat down hard on the couch. So you just... what? Had a baby in secret? Noah's father helped at first. She wiped her eyes. Jake. We were dating. When I found out I was pregnant, I was terrified. But Jake said we could do it. He said we'd figure it out together. And where is Jake now? Her silence was answer enough. He left when Noah was 3 months old, said he couldn't handle it. Emma's laugh was bitter. Turns out 18-year-old guys aren't great with commitment. Why didn't you come home then? Why didn't you tell us? Because I'd already made my choice, Mom. I chose to have him. I chose to keep going to school. I found this apartment. It's subsidized housing for student parents. I got a work-study job in the biology lab that lets me bring Noah sometimes. I've been making it work. I looked around the apartment with new eyes. It was small, but tidy. There was a schedule on the fridge, color-coded blocks for classes, work, childcare. My daughter had built an entire life I knew nothing about. Your grades, I said suddenly. You're still getting A's. You're still on track to graduate. Yeah. She smiled weakly. Turns out I'm pretty good at time management when I have to be. Emma. I didn't know what to say. I was angry, hurt, confused. But underneath all that was something else. A creeping sense of shame. I'm sorry you felt like you couldn't tell me. I wanted to. So many times. Tears streamed down her face now. But I was so scared you'd look at me differently. That you'd be disappointed. I reached for her hand. I could never be disappointed in you. She pulled away. Don't lie, Mom. You're disappointed right now. I can see it on your face. I stayed that night, sleeping on Emma's couch. She didn't ask me to leave, but she didn't exactly invite me to stay either. We existed in this weird limbo, tiptoeing around each other like strangers. In the morning, I woke to the sound of Noah babbling in his crib. Emma was already up, making bottles in the kitchen. She looked exhausted, the kind of bone-deep tired that comes from months of not enough sleep. Let me, I said, reaching for the bottle. She hesitated, then handed it over. He likes it warm, but not too hot. Test it on your wrist. I'd done this before, 21 years ago, with her. The muscle memory was still there. Noah beamed when he saw me, all chubby cheeks and drool. He didn't know I was his grandmother. He didn't know anything except that I was the lady who'd made him cry yesterday. Hey, buddy, I said softly, picking him up. He felt solid and real in my arms, and something in my chest cracked open. Emma watched from the doorway. He's usually shy with strangers. Maybe he knows I'm family. I settled into the rocking chair, and Noah latched onto the bottle like he was starving. Mom, I need to tell you something else. Emma's voice was tight. My stomach dropped. What? I'm failing 2 classes this semester. What? But you said... I lied. Noah's been sick a lot lately. Ear infections, then a stomach bug. I've missed so much class. And my work-study supervisor is pissed because I keep having to call out. She slid down the door frame until she was sitting on the floor. I'm drowning, Mom. I've been drowning for months, and I didn't know how to ask for help. The bottle slipped from Noah's mouth, and he fussed until I adjusted it. Why didn't you tell me? Because then I'd have to tell you about him. And once you knew about Noah, you'd know I'd been lying for over a year. You'd know what a mess I am. You're not a mess. Yes, I am. She was crying again, hard sobs that shook her shoulders. I can barely keep it together. Noah's daycare costs more than my rent. I'm running on 3 hours of sleep. I eat ramen for every meal because diapers are expensive. And I'm going to fail out of college because I can't be in 2 places at once. I set Noah down in his playpen, and he immediately grabbed a stuffed elephant. Then I sat next to Emma on the floor and pulled her into my arms like I used to when she was little. You should have told me. I know. I could have helped. I know. We sat there for a long time, her head on my shoulder, both of us watching Noah play. He was making the elephant dance, giggling at his own game. He looked like Emma did at that age. Same eyes, same smile. I need to call your father, I said finally. Emma stiffened. Dad's going to be so angry. Dad's going to be shocked. But he's also going to love that little boy as much as I already do. You love him? She looked up at me, hope flickering in her eyes. I looked at Noah, who was now trying to eat the elephant's ear, and felt my heart expand in that terrifying, wonderful way it does when you realize there's a new person in the world you'd die for. Yeah, I said. I really do. I'm sorry I lied to you, Mom. I'm sorry for all of it. I'm sorry too. Sorry I made you feel like you couldn't come to me. Sorry I ever said anything that made you think I'd love you less. I squeezed her tight. But we're going to fix this, together. The conversation with my husband went better than expected. He was shocked, definitely. Said what? Approximately 17 times. But once he saw the photos I sent of Noah, I could hear his voice soften. We're grandparents, he kept saying, like he couldn't quite believe it. Emma and I spent the next week making a plan, a real one, not just wishful thinking. I talked to her professors, explained the situation. Most of them were surprisingly understanding. One even had a daughter who'd gone through something similar. We found a better daycare, one near campus that cost less and had evening hours for when Emma worked late. I helped her apply for additional financial aid and food assistance. She'd been too proud to apply before, but pride doesn't feed a toddler. I'm going to pay you back, Emma said on my last night there. For everything. I don't want you to pay me back. I want you to finish school. I want you to be happy. Noah was asleep on her shoulder, his little hand fisted in her shirt. She looked at him with such fierce love that it made my chest ache. I'm still going to be a doctor, she said. It's just going to take longer now. Maybe I'll do med school part-time. Or wait until Noah's in school full-time. But I'm going to do it. I know you will. You're the strongest person I know. She smiled, that same smile I'd seen on her face when she was 5, and insisted on riding her bike without training wheels. Determined, stubborn, brave. I'm coming back in 2 weeks, I told her, and every month after that until you graduate. You're not doing this alone anymore. Thank you, Mom. Thank you for trusting me. Finally. I drove home that night thinking about judgment, about all the casual comments I'd made over the years without considering their weight, about how we sometimes love people conditionally without meaning to, creating invisible rules they're terrified to break. But I also thought about Emma, 19 and pregnant and scared, choosing to have her baby anyway. Going to class with morning sickness. Studying for exams while nursing, building a life for Noah even when his father walked away. She was stronger than I'd ever known. Noah's surprise party never happened that day. But 3 weeks later, When Emma brought him home for a weekend, we threw a different party. A welcome to the family party, with balloons and cake and relatives who were shocked but ultimately thrilled. Emma's 21 now, with a toddler and 2 more years of college ahead of her. It's not the path I imagined for her, but watching her with Noah, seeing how she's grown into this fierce, capable mother, I realize it might be exactly the path she needed. Sometimes the biggest surprises turn out to be the greatest blessings. You just have to be willing to open the door and look inside. What family secret changed your life forever? Share your story in the comments below.